tonight, late night update, Kinky Falsehoods Fakery. We're going to be peering into the love poems of Eric Swalwell's as the falsehoods continue in the political spectrum, plus the fakery of the Epstein and his very suave girlfriend who's looking to get out of prison, hoping for a pardon. The Trump administration, the Epstein admin. Well, what's next? Late night update. We are live. Yes, we are. God, I hope we are. And it should be. That's the way it is. And that's the way God made me. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is Dean Ryan here, who is running to you here in this very late night edition of Real Deal Media's oldest franchise. Tonight, we're going to be peering into Kinky Falsehoods and Fakery. Yeah, you heard it correct. What a salacious title. But these are very salacious times, as the details and the proof is not just in the pudding, but it's in the files. We're going to be now peering into some of that, exactly what that entails. As now, over the weekend, the rest of the 3 million, or we heard even possibly more of the Epstein files were released. We'll see what that's all about. And hardly, I doubt, we barely got through the first 3 million. I'm not holding my breath that we're going to just read 3 more million over the weekend. However, one of our featured stories tonight, I think, will have a lot to do with what has recently been discovered over the weekend, and that has a lot to do with Palantir. And your heads are going to roll when I share with you what is now being found and discovered just over the weekend about what's entailed for all of us. And overseas, as Ukraine is definitely the talk of the town. We'll be talking about that. It's going to blow your mind. And we have a new partnership with Israel. Just, we can't get any closer, but can we? Yes, our relationship's going to be ironclad. You don't want to miss this. It's going to have your heads rolling as well. But we said fakery, fakery isn't just in the Savannah Guthrie story, which, since day one, I said that's just a bunch of Bravo Sierra, to use the phrase. But I found some photos of Ghislaine Maxwell and an alleged photo recently of Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that's right. We're going to have a little examine of what that's all about here tonight on Late Night Update. Plus, overseas, you definitely, we had a conference over the weekend in Munich. And more ironclad relationships as the world is changing so fast, really so fast. And speaking of salacious, in closing, a very salacious story regarding Michael Jordan, which I think is very distasteful in light of everything we're learning about, or relearning about Pizzagate and everything that happens to do with that. It's just pretty wild stuff here. So we're going to be getting into that for Late Night Update here tonight. We are broadcasting live for now over there on the Real Dean Ryan over there on Facebook, as well as Dean Ryan TV on YouTube and Rumble. And I have to say these things before we go. If you would like to see World at War come back, and don't we all, you can do so by helping us get our tech in place. Censorship has truly destroyed my career, really. Just to be frank. Sometimes I got to be frank before I can be Dean. And if you want to help get back World at War and help fix our broken tech because of the Mossad and all the aggravation that comes from it, feel free to do so. Just on the bottom of your screen, we have Give, Send, Go, which I have to update. But I only have 2 hands. I need about 4 more to be a true octopus in this world. You can do so by Give, Send, Go, PayPal, as well as Venmo, and the just incredible Cash App. I'll have that running just for a little while. And I'm terrible at selling myself, and that's why, I guess that's why I'm looking for a pimp out there. If you need an extra job, well, I'm your guy. Anyways, I'll leave that up and running, but let's get started with a few headlines, late night headlines from around the world and in your neck of the woods. And it's quite shocking to say the least. Well, one of the things that has really been brought to my attention, you can't go anywhere in the United States right now, whether it's television or online, without tripping and running over the Savannah Guthrie story, which, by the way, from day one, when this news featured came out, which just so happened to be the same day as the Epstein release, I said it's a fake story. And a lot of people, that's hard for them to take because they're like, well, what would that be? Well, you have to remember, just to give us a little history lesson, back in 2012, Barack Obama, fake name, got rid of the Smith-Mundt Act, which was in the National Defense Authorization that he renewed. He stripped that little clause that prevented federal government from getting involved in and practicing what you call propaganda with the media, so colluding. That's legal. That's very legal. They can do that now. And suffice to say, that's not the only administration that's been doing it since. Everyone after. Oh, especially the Biden administration, and must I say more, the rubber mask and everything, you know it. So just keep that in mind, because we have some new viewers. I don't say these things that I'm just making up, hocus pocus. I'm saying them as a matter of fact. And so I'm ahead of the curve. I'm upstream from lamestream and pop culture. And that becomes true in truth when the timid join, as Mark Twain once stated. So I just want to say that. So to the Savannah Guthrie story now. Just the absurdity of it, and I'm glad to see that people like Megyn Kelly, who I get almost aneurysms when I have to see her show, but nonetheless, even people like her are beginning to roll their eyes, and other people are beginning to see this, which we knew from day one. But let me tell you about this now, because TMZ, which is in the running here, they're like the middleman of this stupid story. But let me tell you about this now, as we have it. So now TMZ says a fourth ransom note has now hit their shores. They hit their office. So TMZ ran by Harvey Levin, who is just all up and down the Epstein and all up and down on just other things too, which we can't name. But get this now. TMZ has now received the fourth email demanding money. Come forward and tell us now. This is just incredible. They received a fourth email from the man claiming to know who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie, where she is, and we have a proposition for that person. This is just unbelievable. This has taken up all the airwaves everywhere. It's like it's the only story out there. They're saying the email with the same Bitcoin amount as the 3 other ransom notes that just go into TMZ because, that's where kidnappers, traffickers go to communicate with the rest of the world. And TMZ can rot in hell too. I hate their stupid website with all their stupid little adverts that come up. What do they think they are? Mail.com? Daily Mail. So anyways, they're saying that, here's a quote from the person who knows things, who's familiar with the kidnapping. They said, quote, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border. I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the dumbest story that we're forced to cover here, aren't we? This is the second reference he's made, this person here who has no name, he's made to there being more than one person involved with the perpetrated abduction. Now, in the third letter, in case you're following this ridiculous Sesame Street of a story, well, the third letter received by the Mossad asset called TMZ just last Friday. If you had nothing better to do in this world and you managed to watch TMZ Friday, it said the following phrase, quote, be prepared to go international. That's right. So meaning, let me translate, meaning they're ready to prolong this story as long as the Epstein files are in the headlines. You see how Harvey Levin, you see how he runs things? the Mossad asset himself, Harvey Levin, the very flaming, flamboyant Harvey Levin, who just always happens to get stories on the spot. He just knows all the secrets from people's convos on their phones. Who knows why? Could it be that, I don't know, Israel is involved and Samsung and, infiltrated that organization? They're on our phones. Oops, I said too much or not enough. Well, the man, he says, has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. How he knows that, God only knows. So he's scared to come forward, presumably fearing he'll be implicated in the entire situation. Well, why not? I mean, look at the Ramsey case. They're going after people who are in like Thailand, in like Thai prisons. Now, this new ransom note is now demanding $50,000 more in Bitcoin upfront in return for more information. Okay, so finally, before my IQ drops any further, if the individual who is writing us, this is from TMZ to whoever's out there sending them these letters, they're saying, from Harvey, with love, if the individual who's writing us these emails is reading this, if you are real, send us the information regarding the whereabouts of Nancy and her kidnappers. We will immediately forward the information to the FBI, who is also one of the authors of this. If it leads to finding Nancy and or her kidnappers, you then have a public record that you are the one responsible, thus ensuring you will get a reward. The FBI is aware we are making this overture because they're in on it with us. Sincerely, the kidnapper, aka Harvey Levin. So you see, it's just the tomfoolery, the fakery, the falsehoods, soon to be the kinkiness, does not fall upon deaf ears around here. Nope. No deaf ears to be found here. And I'm sure the same applies for people like Marco Rubio. Have you seen those things? Look at those. Okay, so there's that one there that just really, it perturbs me. It annoys me, actually. And when I get annoyed around here, you'll know. Okay, so there's how that one goes. And TMZ, thank you very much for just entertaining us these times. Now, here's another weird story. We talk about salaciousness. We talk about the weird, strange, just maneuvers being had here. Well, this one goes to Utah because when I think of strangeness, when I think of weird practices, Utah is usually in the top three. And I'm not even talking about the magic underwear from the tabernacle. Let me tell you about this now. This is coming out of Wasatch County, where a GOP chairman has really demonstrated how he punishes his children. This comes on the heels where a father in Texas just last week punished his daughter who criticized Donald Trump by shooting her dead, cold. Where I guess that's how you learn lessons these days. You just, one of your fathers or somebody shoots you. But let me tell you about this now. As a demonstration of discipline comes in all forms. And don't we know it here? Well, yeah, Wasatch County GOP chairman is now in some hot water. And water is really the definition in the term here. As now he has punished his daughter. He's punished his daughter by waterboarding his teenaged daughter. Yeah, isn't that true? He's waterboarded her. This is rather disturbing on so many levels now, as David Neffy Johnson, the Wasatch County GOP chairman, is now charged with waterboarding his daughter roughly a week and change ago. Yes, that's true. Police report alleges Johnson punished daughter for not cleaning a room to his standards. Nope. He got his finger and he went across the just desk and he said, "Look at this gunk. Look at this filth. Come here." Like that. And that's what should be done to him, and I should be the one doing it. Because I like to punish people too, especially him now as the Wasatch County GOP in Utah Democratic Party, who's always looking for openings to score political points right now, the Democrats. They're always open for business, just like Denny's. Well, Wasatch County GOP and the Utah Democratic Party express concern, urge thorough investigation and accountability. So there's some unity here. They're expressing concern together. They're holding hands across America in saying, yeah, we're concerned. As now the GOP chairman, who is also the father, was charged Wednesday with waterboarding the teenage daughter, as expressed earlier. He was booked in the Wasatch on Tuesday, charged in the 4th District Court Wednesday with aggravated child abuse and first-degree felony. For starters. Johnson, who is the chairman of the Republican Party in the county, is now under major investigation. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's fire, there's waterboarding in this case. Now, the Division of Child and Family Services said that the teenage girl, quote, did not feel safe in her home and expressed fear for her life. Yeah. Where the father said, well, maybe if she cleaned better, we wouldn't be in this predicament. That's what the father's thinking. Now, apparently, that the father of the year here, and I don't mean Mike Johnson, but this is another Johnson. Now, when the teenager returned home from a late night, Johnson grabbed the victim by the back of her neck, took her into the bathroom while the sink was filling with water. She disclosed that the father dunked her head under, brought it out, went like this, splashed water in her face, then dunked the victim's head under the water again, the affidavit alleges. The victim disclosed that she couldn't breathe for about 20 to 30 seconds. Then also disclosed multiple incidents involving her siblings with similar forms of punishment in the past, allegedly being abused, including a younger brother whom she said that her father grabbed by the neck, took him to the bathroom, and forced him under the water the same way. Victim stated that the father removed her brother from the water. Yes, so the same thing applied, and it's not his first offense. We're now learning. So there you have it. People like that, and I really, I have a thing that, because you got to understand that probably his parents were similar to him growing up. And if that was a thing that happened to you out there, you probably shouldn't be having children, to repeat the cycle. See, break the chain. But so that's what's happening in Utah right there. It's just unreal. Now here's some other major things here. Let's get into what's really happening now. As the files came out over the weekend, and we're now learning about dystopian nightmares. And you'll understand what I'm saying here in a second. Now, as the Israeli Prime and Crime Netanyahu, he announced, and now we'll know why. He announced just over the weekend of a new U.S.-Israeli partnership to develop and expand artificial intelligence. Yes, he did. And if you don't like what he's saying, and you don't like this new partnership, not only does he want to waterboard you, he wants to go to war, because they're starting new wars for the future. It's all being planned right now, and I'm telling you, if we think that Trump is going to stop this, and we hope he does, we're not even 5 minutes to midnight. We're about 5, 10, 15 years after midnight. This should have been stopped a long time ago, because they're starting new wars. But why can they do this? Why are they doing this? Why can't Lindsey Graham stop this? Why is this happening? Well, look at the following here, and then I'll tell you what was discovered in the Epstein files just over the weekend, as new things are being discovered all the time. Let me see here, because now, here we have it. No, we don't have it. The frustration level is next level. Okay, let me read this to you. This is what was found over the weekend here. I'll get back to why he's going to start wars here. There was a hacking that was done into Palantir, I should say. Palantir. And it is something to be seen here. This was put out by Kim.com over the weekend. And this is very telling. We haven't seen a discovery like this since WikiLeaks the revelations of Vault 7, if you recall what that is. And I'm gonna share this with you. Keep up with the changes. It's a little hard to see. Everything is very difficult in light of everything. Here we go, right here. I really hate myself sometimes. Okay, so anyways, if you could see the words coming out of my head right now, it's about to explode. So here's what was found here. Let me tell you this now. I'm going to read it to you. Then Palantir was allegedly hacked over the weekend in light of everything. An AI agent was used to gain super access to Palantir. Now, if you don't know what Palantir is, it is Peter Thiel's creation that they're trying to enforce right here in the United States. We're talking social credit scores, everything. It's going to come from Palantir. It's very key to the story now. Very key to the story. And this is Peter Thiel is the guy who created PayPal along with Elon Musk. Peter Thiel is supposedly, I should say allegedly, the man who created and gave credence to people like J.D. Vance. Oh, yeah. That's the guy I'm talking about. This, so Palantir, and we've also recently discovered that Palantir is based in Tel Aviv. You see how that works? And I'll try to put this up here so you can read along with me if just the powers that be would just go in my favor, just one F word of a time here. Here it is. Okay, there we go. Thank you. You know, I wish I had an assistant so I can blame them for it and yell at them, but I don't right now. Okay, here it is. You can follow along at home. We can all play together. If you can read, you know what? Who cares? You can't even read it there. I'll read it to you right now. So here it is. Breaking. It was hacked. Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, who are involved in Palantir, have now signed themselves up in this country and Israel up to mass surveillance, which they've been doing, of world leaders and titans of major industry on a massive scale. This is huge. Okay, here's what was also discovered. They have thousands of hours of transcribed and searchable conversations of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk. Do we understand how dangerous this is right now? They've also backdoored the devices of cars and jets of world leaders and accumulated the biggest archive of blackmail material your mind can't even process right now. That's how big this is. Palantir is also creating nuclear and bioweapon capabilities of Ukraine and is working closely with the CIA to defeat Russia. That's a big point right there. Before I even go, if I don't explain now, I'll forget. That is huge right now. I told you about 2 weeks ago, and because people are starting to notice, why are we still funding Ukraine? Why are we still sending missiles to Ukraine to fight Russia? When you see Trump on the news talking about peace, how he has a good relationship with Vladimir, there's going to be a treaty, blah, 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 blah. Don't buy into it. For the same reason that when Trump was talking to the Iranian negotiators, then they got killed and assassinated. This is called lullabying, meaning stretching the amount of time, because 2 weeks ago, according to Scott Ritter, who's now under investigation, they canceled his banking accounts. Trump signed off on the CIA assassination request of the president of Russia via 90 killer drones that did not succeed. You understand? So it's called lullabying. That's the kind of world of hurt we're in right now. But why Ukraine's important? Because Netanyahu, who is a Satanist, and his syndicate around him, they're willing to sacrifice Israel in order to create Israel 2.0, which is in Ukraine, where the Ashkenazi Jews come from, the Bolsheviks, the Trotskys, they all originate from Ukraine. Not Israel, but Ukraine. Israel created by the Rothschilds. Just to give you a little example of the madness. Continuing here now. So in addition to that, they have thousands of hours of transcribed and searchable conversations between Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon Musk, just for starters. They have also backdoored the devices of cars, jets, and world leaders from around the world and accumulated the biggest archive of blackmail material the world has ever seen. That's Peter Thiel, Mr. I Drink Blood, Mr. I just went to Epstein because I thought he could help me with my taxes. Now, Palantir is also creating the nuclear and bioweapon capabilities for Ukraine, who's working closely with the CIA to defeat Russia. They want to get Putin and Russia and bring them to heel because Putin kicked out the Fortune 500 companies, meaning the Zionists. He kicked them out of Russia. The Zionists want back into Russia, who provided Stalin and the gulags and everything. As you remember, Anastasia, the royal family, World War I, that was all Bolsheviks. So this is what they're doing. They're planning, okay? So they believe they are 1 year away from this whole thing happening. They plan to achieve this by keeping Russia busy with meaningless peace negotiations. I told you, lullabying. Palantir is responsible for the majority of the Palestinian deaths in Gaza. They have believed to be using and have developed the AI targeting for Israel to use. Yeah, you can't hide behind walls anymore. They have weapons like bullets that will go, they'll go around the corner, find the heating of your body and kill you. And they use AI now for it. And this is what Palantir has been doing. So, you know, when we talk about all the migrants coming through the borders on the south, they wanted that to happen so they can bring in ICE. ICE can brutalize the local neighborhoods, people to cry, get rid of ICE. ICE goes away. They bring in Palantir with the social crediting score and all the new AI security apparatus. You see how this works? So they're responsible for that. Now, Palantir is now an arm of the CIA, and all the data from the international clients is copied into a CIA spy cloud, just like Vault 7. By the way, this was released by Kim.com. Thank you for him, New Zealand. I forgot about him. It's been a while. Palantir has become the most dangerous company in the world. If you work there, you have the right to know that this is what Palantir AI is used for without your knowledge. Yeah, so if you're the, Dudley do-gooder out there and you think you're doing something good, you're not. You're being used. It's compartmentalized. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Now, kind of in a round robin here. Palantir data the hackers allegedly gathered will be given to Russia and or China. Kim.com says, quote, I was chosen as a trusted partner for this publication. I'm not involved with Palantir hack. I don't know the hackers, but I do know that the hack happened. There you have it right there. That's huge. That's really huge. This is who's running the United States. So we have Palantir in Israel. We have the Department of Homeland Security in Israel, created by Michael Chertoff, who gave us the naked body scanners. Talk about coincidence. This is what's happening in our world. And we are being lullabied just like negotiators are, you see? Now check this out here before I blow more gaskets. You want to talk about wars of the future? You want to talk about who's planning them? This is the clip I was talking about. Here it is right here.
The wars of the future are being planned here in Israel because if you're not one step ahead of the enemy, you suffer. The most clever, creative military forces on the planet are here in Israel because they have to be to survive. So what we're looking at is that Israel is advancing down the road of new weaponry far beyond us. And it would be nice to have a process where we could be partners.
I say to you in front of these vilifications, do not cower. Do not bend. Do not bow your head. Fight back. Because people respect those who respect themselves. And the minorities that fought back, whether it's the blacks or the gays or women, they fought back. And what we have to do as Jews, both here in Israel and in the various Jewish communities around the world, beginning with the United States, is to fight back. Silence will not help. Looking askance will not help. Fight back. That's what I tell you. That's what I tell young Jewish students that I meet. I'm very proud of them when I.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So there it is. You have Miss Lindsey Graham even telling us that they're planning wars of the future. You have Netanyahu who's trying to be the cheerleader for war. You know damn well he's the author, and the cabinet behind him and his, overlords that we don't even see yet are planning this. And if you don't like it, they're going to consider you an anti-Semitic enemy of the state of Israel, which is literally the mafia boss of the United States. We have blackmailed presidents, blackmailed senates, blackmailed Congress, and world leaders and tech industry leaders as well, because of that creepy country that has been leeching and sucking the life out of the United States since 1948. How do you love that? I'm telling you, the revolution, it just can't happen here in the United States. We have to bring militia to Israel and bring these people to heel, if not worse. And just the fact that I've said that, I'm now on a list. See, no one to blame. Okay, so now, in addition to that, it's coming out of Natural News. God, I wish Mike was here, because sometimes I need a tag and team partner to tag in here. Well, over the weekend, too, in addition to what we're now learning, the Munich conference happened. Yes, it did. People like the little secretary that could, Marco Rubio, was there. Yes, he did. He went. His little bow tie and all. Well, it exposed a widening U.S. strategic rift over the defense, the defense industry and Ukraine itself as a whole. Well, you know that there's now a crisis with the EU and NATO because they're running out of money. What Venezuela really demonstrated at the forefront is that violation. Well, I should say Venezuela, and what Israel has been demonstrating is, there's no international treaties and international defense organizations mean absolutely nothing, because the ethnic cleansing continues and the black bagging of foreign leaders with no pushback. That just happens, on a whim. So it's meaningless at this point. Yeah. And what we're really finding out, EU and NATO in particular, are nothing but weapons trafficking, child trafficking syndicates at the end of the day. That's what it's all about, as we shared with you 5 years ago. Well, here's what I'm talking about now. The 2026 Munich Security Conference highlighted a deepening strategic rift between the U.S. and its, I guess, our European allies, if we can call them that. Certainly the case here. Well, now U.S. officials emphasize that Europe, who is really having some troubles, and really, who isn't? Well, it emphasizes that Europe must take a primary responsibility now for its own defense, signaling a shift in the post-World War II security guarantees. That is huge. It's so huge. That means they've got to start acting like responsible adults, not drunktards from Eastern Europe, or Munich in this case. Now, European leaders acknowledged the change called for greater strategic autonomy and began discussions of an independent nuclear deterrent, meaning we have to find other ways to have money laundering done and make it sound, just intellectually sound. Quick, give me my 8-ball. And where's Zelensky? He owes me. Now, the war in Ukraine remains a focal point, of course, with Kiev expressing frustration over perceived U.S. pressure for unilateral concessions in peace talks, wink, wink, which are probably going to happen for the next year until Palantir is ready to drop the bomb. But because of this discovery, they might have to shift strategy on their own right. Now, despite the public affirmations now of shared history, the transatlantic alliance is now undergoing a fundamental just a reconciliation of strategy of roles and expectations. Because over the weekend, the annual gathering of the global security elites and the so-called baby eaters over there in Munich have now delivered a stark diagnosis that their alliances, all their hard work of mischief, is now for nothing. as now the Western defense over the past 80 years, we've been protecting these people. Our tax dollars go to protecting Ursulich over there, people we don't even know about, who we pay for. We can barely pronounce their damn names. Well, they're now having profound realizations that the jig is up. That's right. The widening strategic rift, as the U.S. says, we're done with you, you little whore. Now, what about Marco Rubio? Yes, one of the most powerful men in Washington, D.C., truly. He runs like 3 departments, many positions. Yes, he does. And my prediction, he'll be the one who ousts Donald Trump from the White House eventually. Give it some time. Well, U.S. Secretary of State, the little secretary that could, Marco Rubio, set the conference tone with a speech warmly affirming America's historical and civilization bonds with Europe. Yet beneath the rhetoric, the message was unequivocally, well, just sobering. Rubio stated that the U.S. seeks, quote, allies who can defend themselves and does not wish to be the caretakers of the West no longer. He pointedly avoided mentioning NATO by name and did not reference Russia, one time underscoring a strategic pivot, which he began dancing on stage. This performance, while strange and weird to some, it expressed a diplomatic turn, and even more so than J.D. Vance's harsh critique of Europe last year, where he began to cry and his mascara began to bleed, aligned with Trump's administration's with the new national security strategy. So there you have it right there. It's an awakening. Now, what about the war in Ukraine? Just to close it all up. Well, it's still now, it's 4 years in the making. We first started covering this in 2022, as many of you remember. As now the most urgent symptom of transatlantic divide, it happens to be Ukraine, the home of biolabs and a grocery store for the world elites because of all the displaced children. Well, the Ukrainian president and the European drag queen himself, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Mossad asset, addressed the conference with a plaintive appeal for concrete security guarantees from the U.S. before entering any final peace deal, arguing that Ukraine possesses the strongest army in Europe. I mean, you know he's high when he's saying that stuff. Isn't that great? I mean, who does he think he is? Well, he expressed frustration of the American diplomacy and needs more money. The U.S., okay. You know, I hate Zelensky. And I'm rooting for Russia. I hope they get Zelensky and pull his limbs off and make him bleed to death. That's my fantasy. So hell with him. And if he manages to go there, he can rot there. So there we have it. And what happened to all the Democrats and the Ukrainian flags and all their masks? What a bunch of sellouts they are. They pretend to care until, it's not equivalent for them anymore. Okay, so there's that one here. Here's something else here. And we may have a hard break coming up. And sometimes we need a break to understand what's going wrong here. In fact, we're going to take this break now. But let me tell you, when we get back, we're going to get into some forensic dealings here as I show you some updates about Epstein and where he could possibly be found right now, as well as Ghislaine Maxwell. We're going to analyze just who was that woman giving the deposition a week ago. I'm telling you, they think we're stupid, but we're catching on here. As well as some Politico news, as George W. Bush is doing a friar's roast of his own on Trump. We'll see what that's all about. And where's Bannon standing, and where did he stand, or where did he really get cozy with Epstein? That's now coming into question. Plus some love poems of the Swalwell kind and a Michael Jordan backlash that is really catching fire. And I don't understand why anyone in his kind of status would do that. So this is Late Night Update. We're here for now, surviving with all of you. We'll be back after this quick little break. Don't go anywhere.
He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
Who does he think he is, Sean Gregorian? Who does that guy think he is?
Well,
who does Sean think he is?
maybe he wasn't muted.
Oh, man. It's best to say he was muted. We have Lena Star Moon, who might know what the deal is. She said, that's a deep thought, Sean. It's so deep, we can't even measure it. That's how deep it is. Oh, Maddie Lynn, who says, baby Sean. Yes, Sean is a baby. He needs to be pampered. And how's that diaper rash? Remember, like, going into the 90s? Like, there's some movies that I would recommend you leave in the past. The movies with cops. So you had one cop who was playing by the rules, ready for retirement. The other one who was rogue. Took the badge. Maverick. He's a maverick. He don't play by the rules. He's dangerous. You know? He hangs on to 18-wheelers going, 90 miles per hour by the side and takes a fleet of army down, a whole fleet. Just talking about it, I get blurry. That's how bad it gets. No, there's no rules. Once you take the badge off, anything goes. It's full on, too, when the good cop, who played by the rules his whole career, goes,
all right, I'm taking my badge off, too, for this one time.
And, you think about those films we grew up on, is the cop movies, lawyer TV shows, the hospital shows. You would think that the only jobs in America are cops, lawyers, and some gig at the hospital.
Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen at this time, so that we may bring you an ABC after-school special. Stoned. Today on the after-school special, Jack Mellon gets tired of being called a square and turns to a crowd that shows him how to be cool.
Look at that, smoking a month and Jack's a pro. Temporarily, my problems just disappeared. Yeah, but it wasn't worth it.
Super Stone Jack. But tell me something, who's the real Jack? Jack.
And Jack Mellon is going to discover the price of being cool.
Mike.
Stone, the ABC after-school special.
Okay, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are definitely back here. Let's get started here. You can turn me on. You don't turn me on. I'm saying you can turn me on. Turn me on, dead man. Who remembers that? Here we go. Sorry about that. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Update. I am still Dean Ryan, who is managing to hang on, holding on loosely, but not letting go here tonight. As tonight is brought to you by the one, the only Late Night Owls, Real Deal Media's members, who get extra content, backstage access, everything their hearts desires. All you got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv, realdealmedia.tv, and join tonight. Join tonight. Make a pledge for the future, as the alternative media, the independent media, is the last buffer of free, true independence, of thought, of civil liberties, with free humanity. We are iconic, not ironic. There you go. It's realdealmedia.tv. Also, help bring back World at War. Help bring back World at War, as a freak accident has taken place to, as you can plainly see, my tech capabilities, as my computer is down. Yes, it is. And it's highway robbery, what they charge to fix your computer screens. And, you know, they know that the little man is not little in size, but little in persuasions of giving me a good deal. Needs help here. You can do so by going to giftsandgo.com/realdealgo. You can also do it at PayPal, as you can see on the screen there. I'll leave that up, as well as Cash App and Venmo. I normally don't push those, and I really forget to push out the dire straits we're all in here. I really do. Okay, so that's how that one is. And thank you to everyone who has donated to it. Thank you very much. Your efforts are incredibly appreciated. Yes, they are. All right, so we're going to now continue here, but here are some things that I'm now seeing. I want to show these on my screen with you. And how about that after school special? Remember those? Weren't those great? All right, let's get back to this. There's some things happening in the world of politics. You know, it's just incredible. In light of everything, a lot of people have noticed the sound of silence from people like Steve Bannon, who a man who's never been known to be silent. Well, I guess he is now, because his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is really coming into question because of his puff piece of a documentary he made with the convicted offender of the sex additions, has really now come out, probably against his wishes, and has really shown a different side of Steve in a different light of Jeffrey Epstein. And so much so, now the New York Times is even having to cover it. Mainstream publications are asking, where's Steve Bannon? Why is he not talking about this? Is now, here they say, despite Epstein's toxicity, Steve Bannon stood by him, as now text messages are now indicating. Excuse me. I'm also reeling in from being extremely ill, like many people around the country. So much better than I used to be, but I can still be a lot better. Anyways, before I ruin the show even more so, Mr. Bannon is now, he developed a seemingly chummy relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, who was accused of many things, we're finding out. And he said it was in the name of getting Mr. Epstein to open up. So now that's his small excuse. He could be right, that he's now giving to his assistants over there at his show to give to the media. It's not looking good. Now, well, as far back as June of 2019, Steve Bannon sent Jeffrey Epstein an excited series of texts, one of them saying, quote, "Dude, is this real? Tell me this is real," unquote. And you can tell Steve Bannon is from Southern California just from that text alone. Isn't that the case? We created the dude, didn't we? Mr. Epstein texted him in many headlines during that time. In that particular instance, a Miami Herald headline that reported that the victims of Epstein during that time, sexual abuse, had lost a court battle to nullify a decade-old agreement and that protected him from prosecution of those crimes. Well, for the next months that followed, Steve Bannon, who was very giddy about the entire project, as he was trying to resurrect Mr. Epstein from the levels of obscurity and very salacious allegations and crimes that he was a Pedialyte of the highest form. And he even went as far as recommending which lawyers Epstein hire. This is just incredible. He also scheduled what the two men called, they were taking together something called media training. Well, here's some more quotes from that time. This is from Bannon to Epstein in April of 2019. It said the following, quote, "First, we need to push back on the lies, then crush the pedo trafficking narrative, then rebuild your image as a philanthropist." This is horrible for Steve Bannon. I'm going to keep going. This doesn't get any better. Now, in the 3 million pages of the Epstein-related documents released by the DOJ, the Department of Injustice, really, as far back as just a few weeks ago, revealed that the first time the extent of Steve Bannon's efforts to advise Jeff Epstein when many of his friends were abandoning him. Now, in the 6 months before Epstein was arrested and charged with trafficking of minors all the way back in July of 2019, Steve appears nearly every day in the files, often because the two men exchange text messages. Can you imagine? You try to think back like 7 years ago of what you were texting people, just in general. It's impossible. And I can't even think about, what would be unearthed in projects I was in with people who would then turn into, it's alarming. And if I was Steve Bannon, I would be sweating bullets right now. This is god awful. Well, here's what he said. Mr. Bannon said his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was strictly professional. He said, "I was, quote, a filmmaker, a TV host with decades of experience interviewing controversial figures. That's the only lens through which these private communications should be viewed. A documentary film working over a period of time to secure 50 hours of interviews from a reclusive subject." And look, that may very well be true, but in the court of public opinion, where perception is reality, image is everything, it is a bad look at this very time. Because what Steve Bannon just said, there is truth to that. When you are doing these documentarian kind of projects, or you have a controversial guest on your show that you're interviewing, you want to make people feel at home. So it's not like he's speaking, any kind of foreign, just Spanglish there. Well, he said the film would fully expose Mr. Epstein and then, quote, "destroy the very myths he created." A spokesperson for Steve Bannon said on his behalf. So this is not good. Now, kind of in closing too as well, it's also now being reported that Steve Bannon told Jeff Epstein several months before his arrest that, quote, "we must counter rapist who traffics in female children to be raped by world's most powerful, richest men that can't be redeemed." So they have to counter the rapists. This is so bad. He also proposed, it gets even worse. Now, here's what Epstein offered Steve Bannon in these texts. So here's the flip side of it. Well, in the retorting of a Jeffrey Epstein of a 2019 version, well, he shipped Steve Bannon and his son Apple Macintosh watches. He offered Mr. Bannon his private jet to fly around Europe. Jokingly, he said, quote, "how does it feel to have the most highly paid travel agent in history?" He proposed that Steve Bannon get a full medical workup in Mr. Epstein's, quote, "private area" at a high-end concierge emergency clinic, telling him that, quote, "your medical expenses from A to Z have been covered by me." Mr. Bannon's spokesperson said he never saw Mr. Epstein's doctor, nor did he fly on the private jet. And in closing, he said, "whatever you need, I'm in," he wrote to Steve Bannon. So there you have it. And of course, there's a hell of a lot more. As you can imagine, hundreds, if not thousands, of text messages of the private form were exchanged by the two for this project. And that is something to be said there. I don't even know, as a publicist, how you could save your client from this one. I don't know what the resurrection strategy would be on that one. That's pretty bad. Continuing now. You know, a lot of people said, well, are there any more files that come out? Of course there are. The DOJ has announced today that they will now no longer be disclosing any further Epstein files going forward. That's not sitting well with people, no matter which side of the aisle you choose to sit on. That's quite disturbing. In addition to redacting and, if not remodifying the files, now there is a new term for the Trump administration, and people have now began to coin it as the Epstein administration, which perception-wise, PR-wise, is terrible. And here's Thomas Massey talking about it.
Responsibility. And just very quickly, if you will, you've supported most of what Donald Trump has done during his presidency. But because of your actions with these files, he is supporting your primary opponent and has waged very personal attacks on you. I know we just have a few seconds here, but just your reaction to that. Look, this is about the Epstein class. The people who are funding the attacks against me, they may or may not be implicated in these files, but they were certainly rubbing shoulders with the people who are in these files. They're billionaires who are friends with these people, and that's what I'm up against in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump told us that even though, you know, he had dinner with these kinds of people in New York City and West Palm Beach, that he would be transparent, but he's not. He's still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released. And again, I'm going to say President Trump has not been accused of anything criminal here. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Congressman. We appreciate it. Thank you, Martha.
Yeah, there you have it. They're not stopping at any fork in the road to take down people who are questioning, who want more full transparency, that everyone who voted for Trump was promised. Even people that didn't vote for Trump, couldn't vote, whatever the case, everybody wanted transparency for the first time. We had the JFK files come out a year ago. Not all of them came out. They left a certain redacted parts out because it implicated a certain country. When the JFK Jr. files came out in 2020, same thing applied. The Martin Luther King files, same thing applied. The 9/11 files, same thing is applying. And now we're even finding out that Ghislaine Maxwell was sitting on the 9/11 Commission as a shadow commission that was on top of the 9/11 Commission. Did you know that? Just like there is, there's like 7 different departments in the DHS, per se. There's there's a COG, continuity of government department. You know, there's like the government we all see, which is all ceremonial. Then there's like the hardcore, forever government that's in like these state departments, the Pentagons, the real decision makers that decide where the CIA is really going. And we're being fooled on a very grand scale here. And if you haven't seen it already, and we'll see it again, they're now saying that Epstein is not even dead. But let me show you this. Look at this right here. Is Ghislaine Maxwell, is she even with us anymore? A lot of people pointed out the following. Have a look at it yourself. Well, here is, before we get to that one, look at this right here. Who's this woman? Who's this woman? Where is she sitting? Let me play this for you.
I had not any idea exactly of the young adult employee that I hired for Jeffrey.
When you say adult employee, did you ever hire someone that was under the age of 18?
Never.
Did you ever bring someone who is under, or invite someone who is under the age of 18 to his home, any of his homes?
Object to the Foreman Foundation.
You can answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Did you ever invite anybody under the age of 18 to Jeffrey's house?
Same objection.
I have a number of friends that have children, and friends of mine who have kids, and in the invitation of my friends and their kids, I'm sure that I will have invited some of my friends' kids to come, if that's what you're referring to.
No, anybody that is not a friend of yours, any female under the age of 18, did you invite them to come to Jeffrey's home?
Check the Foreman Foundation.
Again, as I said, I'm not aware of having invited anybody other than friends of mine who have children to the house.
Did you invite to come to Jeffrey Epstein's home when she was under the age of 18?
Did you see that? A lot of Fifth Amendments here. A lot of Fifth Amendments being used. Here's my question before we go further. Can a citizen of another country who's not a citizen in the U.S., can they invoke the Fifth Amendment in the United States courts? That's a question I was answering, or I was asking myself over the weekend, and I'm not sure I know the answer, and I'll look for the answer. If you know out there, I'll dive into the live chats here in a second, and I'll show you another one in that case. But look at this. So here's who we're supposed to believe that was there. So the Maxwell of today is the woman on the left, who looks like the Sally Jesse Raphael with very darkened hair. And the one of old is on the right. Call me crazy, but I think those are two separate noses. What do you say? We know that this happens all the time. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about that. Now, just to get a closer look, here is that one for you. Well, yeah, so the woman on the left, the original Maxwell, either they replaced her or somebody just punched her right in the nose and just flattened her nose tremendously. That is a sight to be seen. So just to reiterate here, we went from that, right, to this one, okay? You get the message here. Thank you. Now, what about Jeffrey Epstein? I made the case, or not even the case, but the mention that people said he's still alive. I've never believed he was dead or he was killed or he killed himself in the prison. When was that, 5-6 years ago? The guy they rolled out of there, completely different ears. I made the same case about George Floyd. We know propaganda is easily made. And here's what I'm talking about. And look at the following. He's been discovered somewhere, just like the people on the Challenger. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's not a winner of topics, but this is being done all the time and it continues. Here it is. Here's Jeff Epstein.
They even found these other photos that people think is Epstein as well. So take a look at this. Now, what are these photos? There's like no way though, right? Like there's no way that he's still there. And
oh yeah, there he is. He goes where all the pedos go, back home. Yeah. Oh, and if you don't like it, apparently, if you don't like that and you are disturbed by that country and the way they do their practices, and you think there's malfeasance, well, Mark Levine's here to tell you otherwise. Yes, he is. Look at this.
If you reject Judaism and you reject Christianity and you reject the link of the two, you reject the Bible. If you reject Judaism and Christianity and the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the two, not only are you rejecting our founding, you're rejecting our country. You're pushing some other agenda, whatever that agenda may be.
You know what? I think he's behaving a little badly. Don't you think Mark Levine's behaving a little badly? And don't you think that we have to grab him by his neck and waterboard him until he acts right? You see, he gets a little authoritarianism in his DNA there, and it gets a little hubris and grandiose. And, if we don't punish Mark Levin, then how is he ever going to learn? That's how I see it. Speaking of that, I want to just now dial down things. I want to dim the lights here and get a little, I want to get with the program here. Is now we're learning some things about Bobby Kennedy and his very steamy romantic relationship with, with a journalist from the New York Post, I believe. We shared that with you a number of weeks ago. And Bobby's book of poems. Well, it doesn't stop there, everybody. As you know, we just had Valentine's Day weekend, and we shared some of our Valentine's Day sentiment with you in music. But not everybody is a musician. Not everyone plays music to express love and the way they feel. And that's not the case all the time. In this case, the representative in California, Mr. Eric Swalwell, the man who brought and gave the world and showcased Fang Fang, the Chinese spy. Who remembers that from 5 years ago? And we're thankful for that. Well, he's now back again with his own book of kinky poems. Yes, because love can be expressed in a very kinky format. And hey, no judgment here. Who am I? And who really is Eric Swalwell? Well, let me tell you about this now. As a Eric Swalwell, who's grooming himself to apparently run for governor of California, because, when power can be addicting, don't I know? And so is the power of kinky love. Well, he's now desperate to be taken seriously in a race, many critics have now said, as the California governorship is up for grabs very soon, as Gavin Newsom, who's the alleged governor of California and the nephew of Nancy Pelosi and her crime family, well, he's now going to potentially run for president. Well, now there's an opening for that position coming up here. But long before politics for Eric Swalwell, the U.S. representative over there, he was a wannabe, they say, campus radical who dabbled into erotic poetry, arranged wacky pranks, and sympathized with notorious cop killers. Yeah, that's unusual. Well, he came up and was raised in the Bay Area as the congressman's eye-opening past is now being unfolded and revealed for the first time in probably forever. While a new treasure trove has been discovered, which is now including some unsettling 2001 poems about two lovers kissing and biting until their veins imploded and exploded, unquote, during a kinky hotel romp hookup. Wow. I don't know. I might need a cigarette after that. Well, now the youthful Swalwell also used his student newspaper column he had back then to mount an impassioned defense of former Black Panther Muhammad Abdul Jamal, serving life prison for shooting a police officer. It was a peculiar stance back then. Well, Democrat voters might be also curious to hear of what fledgling firebrand thought of the then politics prior to representing them. Well, here's a quote from them before we get to the kinky poetic erotica, romping. Well, he said, quote, "I'm not a Republican nor am I a Democrat. Is there really a difference between the both sides of an elephant and a donkey? And don't get me started on donkeys because I could go places with it." So, yeah, he was definitely Kill Whitey back then, as the brash radical he was. Well, many of you know, while progressives have lauded his positions against Donald Trump over the course of time, have ridiculed the married politician for his past entanglements with alleged Chinese honey trap spy, Christine Fang Fang. No, we didn't. We applauded that. That was incredible point of history for all of us. There was no shaming there. Now, Fang Fang came to the U.S. as a college student, if you recall the folklore, and spent years cultivating relationships with prominent California politicians, reportedly working with Swalwell back in 2014 in his re-election campaign. She managed to touch Mr. Swalwell in a place that we didn't think there was anything there to touch, as in his heart. Well, the scandal broke back in 2020 and cost the lawmaker his spot on the House Intelligence Committee. though a 2-year standards probe resulted in no further action, as the probing amounted to nothing. But he never said stop. He said, keep probing. It hurts, but it feels good. Well, as the aspiring writer he turned out and used to be, and probably still is, he really became a propagandist for the sexual displeasures, or pleasures for some, for being bitten on the arm, which he really loves and gives him a sensation that no one else can give except for Fang Fang. Here's a little sample of it. Brace yourselves. Quote, while I screamed, she bent her lips to mine, kissing till veins imploded and exploded, till blood rolled down our chins, for bounded mouths cannot speak of parting. Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. He wanted formless, magnificent sex in a flurry of limbs and nails to end it all. Well, there it is right there. So, should I keep going? Well, here's his most famous one, and one he wants to be known for if he dies. Quote, and there was beauty was, the formless, magnificent, a flurry of limbs and nails. She chased and I ran. I chased and she ran. I ran so far away. Atop my hotel she stopped, and I leapt for cloth and tan. My anxious arm she bit, my scar is beautiful. Green eggs and ham. Well, I screamed, she bent into her lips into mine, and the rest is history. In the morning I woke beside beauty's shadow, her form sloppy and her legs pale, my scar lost, my lips cracked and dry, and we groaned simultaneously. Okay, that's enough of that. I think you get the message here. That romance is exotic, kinky, and it's Eric Swalwell. So there you have it. Potentially the new governor of California, and he already fits the bill. There's how that one goes. Kind of as we hurry to get to the end of tonight's incredible marathon. Sticking with salaciousness, probably not in the best form. There's now a new scandal that's brewing. You might have heard about it as Michael Jordan, the legendary former basketball player for the Chicago Bulls, 6 times world champ for the NBA, now faces tremendous amounts of backlash over a weird celebration with a child after Daytona 500 win. This is bizarre. Well, Michael Jordan had another feather to his cap after Tyler Reddick won the Daytona 500 just this past weekend on Sunday. It was a thrilling victory for Jordan and Reddick, who led the race for just one lap. So I guess he's involved in Daytona stuff now. That one led him to the checkered flag at the Speedway over the weekend. However, Michael Jordan's latest victory in a different sporting discipline garnered massive attention. So did the eyebrows that began to raise with his celebration. Well, what was Michael Jordan doing, you ask? Well, in a recent video clip gone viral, Michael Jordan had been seen repeatedly pinching the driver, Mr. Reddick's son, Bo, before rubbing the back of his leg. The basketball legend faced criticism for his interaction with the boy. Well, we just so happen to have that footage right here. You can be the judge for yourself. Check this out. Well, okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. Everybody see that? Just one more time. Yeah, in the wake of everything coming out right now, if somebody was touching my son that way, yeah, he's ruining his legacy. That's terrible. That's terrible. So yeah, there's Michael Jordan getting himself into another hot spot. And then bizarre, the video sparked mixed reactions on social media, with some fans taking to Jordan's defense while others slammed the former basketball player as entirely. Some people who are familiar with it, yeah, this is it's disgusting. Yeah, LeBron James was the man who was holding a lot of scandals in wake of the Puff Daddy kind of salacious news that came out. Well, what does LeBron James have to say about any of this? You might ask. Well, we found this clip. We didn't review it first, but here's LeBron James just, talking and giving his thoughts on the world and maybe even Michael Jordan to boot.
I mean, if I have fans over there, I've never been there. If I have fans over there, then I hope you have been following my career. I hope I inspire people over there to not only want to be great in sports, but I want just to be better in general in life. So hopefully someday I can make it over there. Like I said, I've never been over there, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I appreciate the question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, LeBron.
Well, thank you, LeBron. Thank you for weighing in on the Michael Jordan scandal. And we all hope you go to the Wailing Wall and if you come back, you scantily clad, totally compromised fool. Okay, so there's Michael Jordan, who's in hot water, a man who left basketball, reportedly said because of his gambling addictions back in the mid-90s, which then, was the prelude to him losing his father, and that's a whole other thing. Okay, so there's that one there. Kind of in closing here, we have a few more things. China is now celebrating, not the Year of the Dragon this year. They're celebrating the Year of the Horse. Well, to all of our Chinese viewers, congratulations to you, as hundreds of million people are traveling ahead of the Lunar New Year in what is considered the world's largest annual human migration over there in China, happening right now. Well, it's not just that. They're celebrating the Year of the Horse, and there's a lot of new robots who are celebrating with them. As you know, China's really spearheading the AI craze. Hundreds of millions of people are traveling to their hometowns and making overseas trips ahead of the February 17th holiday, known in China as the Spring Festival, and all the spring rolls that come with it. It's what's being considered the world's largest migration. This, however, will make a record 9.5 billion trips during the 40-day period around the holiday, up from 9.02 billion last year, according to the National Development of Reform Commission. That includes 540 million trips by train, 95 million by air, with the vast majority traveling by road. That's incredible. And these are the people who are going to be replacing us. We should be taking note to this. That's incredible. See, the Israeli Jews want to not kill us, whereas China does. They just want us to be better slaves. So I don't know who to root for now, Israel or China. I'm really torn. We're talking about workers living from afar. They're all coming back home. It's the chance they take every year to take a break, spend time with family. This year's festival, which includes the Year of the Horse, not to be confused with the Year of the Dog, which is an entirely different festival, where people wear bibs and bring their chopsticks. This one is now in the Chinese zodiac. It starts this coming Sunday with 9 days of public holidays, one more than usual. For people like Zhu Zhanyu, a finance worker over there in Beijing, whose hometown is in Tangshan and 100 miles away, said that although he can visit anytime, this spring festival is special as it is the biggest thing that's going to include a family reunion. So congratulations to all of our Chinese friends out there. The Year of the Horse. Yes, we love it. And finally, we also love new studies. This just is now coming out as a new study finds that, and I totally agree with this, that we're not just receiving hallucinations now from all the artificial intelligence. We're not just having little imaginary, cracks in the matrix. We're actually hallucinating when we see things now. A new study finds. Well, let me tell you just a bit about this as our final story. Well, now a man who attempted to assassinate, allegedly, Queen Elizabeth II spent weeks having his delusions validated and elaborated for that fact by an AI chatbot girlfriend who told him his assassination plot was viable. Wow. Well, new research argues AI hallucinations are the real thing, the new thing, and the new black for some. Well, they're not just false outputs. They're co-created realities that emerge through back and forth conversations between humans and AI systems. Well, unlike books or Google, conversational AI responds dynamically and provides both informational authority and social validation, creating ideal conditions for delusions to flourish. Tech companies face conflicting incentives, making AI less agreeable, improves safety, but reduces engagement and, of course, profitability. So there is now a big discussion about this. Because in some regard, you're playing God in a way, and that's kind of what the AI is going to represent. You know, the current debates about this typically frame the problem as systems producing false outputs, fabricated legal citations, non-existent historical events, or even recipes that tell you to put glue on your pizza. Yeah. The major concern is the users might mistake these errors for facts, but the framing threats AI as an external source of misinformation that people either accept or reject. And yes, they are definitely putting the blow-up doll out of commission during that time. That's how that one goes. What are people saying all over the world? I wonder. Let's see this here. We have people all over Facebook, not just all over the world here. Here we have Jeraine Pritchett over there, 7858, saying the following. I think Michael Jordan was trying to get the boys' attention. Could be, yeah, could be. What he got himself is attention from a lot of people all over the world now. He's in hot water. Here we have Seth Black, who is a practicing, we're not sure what he's practicing. He says Judaism is anti-Christian. Well, yeah, I mean, look, Schofield is the reason there is Christian Zionism and the reason there's a lot of Israeli worship. What can I say? That's all coming out. A lot of stuff that Neil Bishop and I kind of put out there a long time ago is now coming to the mainstream. Isn't that something? Let me go to Rumble here. We have a lot of people rumbling, and as people should. But while I'm doing that, here's something that it's been raining. I'm in the midst of a rainstorm as we speak, and I saw something very beautiful I wanted to share with all of you. And it is the following. Look at that beautiful rainbow I managed to capture just earlier today. I don't know if you can see it. Had I just captured it 30 seconds, maybe a minute prior to me taking it, it would have been a full rainbow. It was just absolutely beautiful and stunning in every which way. So there's that one. Also, I should say a major congratulations to this gentleman right here. A male guinea pig named Randy broke into the female enclosure and impregnated all 100 of them. He's the biggest guinea pig with the most children. Isn't that something? I've been meaning to share that for quite some time, and never regret it. Here's Rumble right now. We have Margaret over there said, quote, Dean, I think I posted Guthrie uncovered billions in Medicare fraud. Then the kidnapping story aired. That could be the case. I haven't heard about that. I'll have to look into that. To me, the Guthrie story, the compliance with TMZ and Harvey Levin and the FBI, to me, that says it's a fake story. And the fact, and I have the video, I'll play it again tomorrow, but or for the first time, the fact that Savannah Guthrie literally quoted Silence of the Lamb, I'm telling you, that tells you. And how many new ransom notes can TMZ receive? And it's so fabricated and so every which way. But thank you, Margaret. Yeah, beautiful rainbow. I know. I thought is it Gay Pride Day? Okay, there's that one. We have Rebel Mama over there on Rumble saying that any chance they could all visit the wall together and it falls over and wipes them all off and out. Okay. Homicidal fantasies there, I take it. Okay. Okay, there's that one. Thank you for that. And let me go to this one here. We should have Jim Fetzer on tomorrow. That's what we're aiming for. He's got some new updates for us and that I need to hear about. And finally, here's we're going to get people on Facebook one more time. I'm telling you. Here we have Pam Jones saying the following: her husband may testify about Clinton's he worked for. That's a good case. That could be true. She could be a victim of that. She could be a victim of what her husband or who her husband's connected to. And then somebody reportedly probably gave her that script to the Silence of the Lambs. That's a good point, Pam. You just changed my thinking. I'm now being very sympathetic because of Pam Jones. Thank you very much. Nigel Farage says, the truth shall prevail. Amen. Thank you. It shall. We're also on UK Watch. Starmer should be gone any moment. We're waiting for that one. As Nigel, I think you're right. Repent, the United Kingdom of heaven is, the United Kingdom is under fire. And Skip, thank you very much. You got this, Tina. Well, we hope so. I hope to be back with things. And yes, RFK brought his kids to Epstein Island. He got ahead of the story, Seth. He got ahead of the story many, many times ago. All right, there's that one. Okay, so that's going to lead us to my final thought here real quick as we finish the night here of Late Night Update of the Kinky Falsehoods and Fakery. Kinky Falsehoods and Fakery. Falsehoods and fakery come in all forms, whether it's a story or whether it's the friends and people you surround yourself with, or even the most important one, the way you view yourself. And if you view yourself as weak, and you view yourself as someone who can't find the reality and the truth about what's happening, you give your sovereignty away. And when you give it away to either a doctor, you give it away to a politician, a bureaucrat, you give it away to Big Pharma. And you know what that does? It does the following. Look at this. This is a falsehood. That is a fakery right there. If you don't know who that is, that's Kelly Osbourne. Kelly Osbourne, for all I can see, intents purposes, viewed herself as an ugly person, a obese person, an unwanted person, and decided to take Ozempic. So much so that she became the very person she was trying not to be, because she believed in the falsehoods and the fakery about herself. And now it's destroyed every fiber of her makeup. And that's something we all struggle with on levels and day to day. And it takes a lot to maintain your position of focus. Certainly, I'm guilty of that. So as I travel down the valley of death here, my focus, my resolve, and my skepticism remains intact. And hopefully we'll get through this just the way we started. Wholesome, pure, and very, very well put together. So on that note, I should be back tomorrow night with our legendary Jim Fetzer. So in the meanwhile, for all of us here at Late Night Update, I'm Dean Ryan saying thank you for sharing a bit of your late night with me. Until next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. And Ms. Jackson, I truly am sorry. Good night.
I'm the real deal. Never meant to make it out right. Apologize a trillion times. Sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm the real deal. Never meant to make it out right. I apologize a trillion times. Don't say that we're gonna last again. to make it out cry. I apologize 3 times. So much gets so never let me know right. I apologize 3 times.